In my previous videos, I focused on one of the main causes of poor sleep, circadian rhythm disruption. Now we're going to continue to focus on the second major cause of poor sleep, physiological activation. In my previous videos, I also focused on various things and how they affect our sleep. This includes sleep medication, drugs like cannabis, alcohol, caffeine, certain supplements, exercise, timing of meals, and stress. We focused a lot on what to avoid. We also covered things you can do instead. This includes ways to reduce your core body temperature, when to exercise, use of aromatherapy like lavender, and the use of various supplements like ashwagandha, magnesium, and glycine. Today we're going to cover the best psychological strategy to help you reduce your physiological activation and improve your sleep. I'm Dr. Chris Friesen from Friesen Performance, where I help you achieve your greatest potential by optimizing your psychology, physiology, and neurology. If you want to take your performance and productivity to the next level, you're going to need to improve your sleep. Recall that physiological activation refers to when our brains and bodies are too worked up. This can interfere with our ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. This involves too much sympathetic nervous system activation. This is the stress response or the fight or flight response. Related to this is a lack of activation of our parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest, digest, anabolic system. You can think of a brake in a car. When this system is activated, it slows our physiology down. I talked about a breathing strategy that can activate our parasympathetic nervous system in my previous video. We need to change our attitude toward falling asleep. Humans are action-oriented. We're designed to make things happen, to control things. The problem is, this doesn't work for certain things. For example, controlling our thoughts, emotions, or our physiological activation in order to fall asleep. See, falling asleep is not something you should try to do or control. It's something that you need to allow to happen. Any effort to fall asleep activates the stress response, the sympathetic nervous system. When our sympathetic nervous system is activated, we are designed not to fall asleep. You can imagine how dangerous this would be for survival on the savannah. If we could fall asleep even though we were physiologically activated due to fear, for example, we would all be eaten alive in sleep. When we're activated, we're designed not to be able to sleep for our survival. Because humans are problem-solving machines, our default is to control things, to make it go away. The more we try to make our anxiety go away, the worse it becomes. It activates the sympathetic nervous system. We learn much better through experience than through talking. So in my practice, I hook people up to a device that measures something called a galvanic skin response. This is the sweat response on our fingers. Essentially, when we're feeling stress or making any effort, the stress response is activated. In other words, the sympathetic response is activated, and our fingers begin to sweat, usually microscopically, so we're not actually aware of this. What I do is I tell them to look at the screen. On the screen, there's a line graph. It goes up when our fingers are sweating, again, below our level of awareness. People with anxiety often get caught in the struggle against their anxiety, again, making it worse. So I tell them to do what they usually do, which is to try and control the anxiety, to try and make the line go down. And what almost inevitably happens is the line goes up instead. For most of my patients and clients, this is an aha moment, when they realize that their struggle to reduce their anxiety is actually activating the stress system. When the line goes down, it means the sympathetic nervous system is essentially turned off. It's like taking your foot off the gas pedal. It's only when I tell people to drop the struggle, stop trying to control the line, allow it to come down on its own. Only then does the line come down. I do this with people who not only have problems with anxiety, but also problems falling asleep. It allows people to see, sort of under the hood, what's going on. The more they try to control their sleep or force themselves to sleep, the less likely they're going to fall asleep. The stress response gets activated. It's only when people allow themselves to fall asleep, they let themselves fall asleep, that their body is able to reduce physiological activation and therefore fall asleep. So we need to change our attitude towards falling asleep. We need to stop trying to sleep and start allowing ourselves to fall asleep. We need to get out of our own way. I used to fall into this trap a lot when trying to fall asleep, especially when I had to wake up early the next morning and I found that it was getting later and later. My physiology would get activated and I would try harder to fall asleep. Of course, this only made things worse. It was only when I understood this principle of letting go and allowing that I was able to improve my sleep. It helped that I had access to biofeedback equipment, such as something that measures GSR like we've talked about. Once I saw that on the screen, I really learned what happens when I make an effort. It makes things worse. And I also learned what it feels like to let go. Once I fully understood this concept, I was able to fall asleep much easier. Now, about 95% of the time, if I'm feeling activated, I'm able to let go and stop trying and allow myself to fall asleep. In the next video, I'm going to focus on a neurological strategy that can reduce physiological activation and help you fall asleep. I hope you found this video helpful. If you think it would help friends or family, please share with them as well. Hit the like and subscribe button if you want to get alerted to new videos when they come out. Until next time, keep moving forward.